Um, and then I guess from like an acquisitions perspective, one conversation I was having pretty repeatedly with people was how are people getting deals done in this new era of competition? I know, we have a pretty good industry reputation, and sometimes we get to best and final, and it's been harder and more competitive to get deals done. And so I'm seeing more groups exercising discipline but creativity, and maybe that's through assumable loans, seller financing, negotiation of seller fees, JV opportunities. Um, Adaptive reuse plays is a big one too. So a lot of conversations around that.
Do you think that's because there's just a lot more capital coming into the space as well, like institutionally?
Institutional capital tends to have more flexibility on returns. And so they're more likely to offer more on a site than someone who's more driven by a value add play. They can handle assets that are REIT managed and that don't have a lot of room to grow market rents. For a group like us, it's tough to offer on a REIT managed site because there's not a lot of juice to squeeze. So yes, I think they're able to take down sites that are more institutionally run by the REITs. And so it's harder to compete with that because they're more likely to pay top dollar. Where a group like us, like we like the messier and hairier deals where there might be an expansion or there might need to be a $2 million CapEx project because it's a really tough site. So that's kind of been our edge in order to get deals done.
At some point, I hope we get a chance to dive into your Inglewood site and give us an update on that. But you
Yeah.
mentioned, a lot of conversations that you had. I think that's really the power in going to these conferences. You just get a chance to meet a lot of different people. Is there any one or two conversations? You don't disclose with who, but any one or two conversations that really jumped out to you? Think, oh, this was a really interesting piece of information I got that you want to share with us?
Yeah. I think inevitably at the events and at broker dinners, you sit by a lot of your acquisition peers. And some of my best friends in the industry are acquisition folks. And it's so nice to have that network of people I can call and say, hey, how are you looking at this deal? And am I missing something? Or, hey, can you give me some background on this market? I've never underwritten here. So I've really cherished those relationships. And my focus is meeting with brokers, but sometimes you learn the most from talking to your peers in acquisitions because we're all doing the same job at the end of the day with slightly different intentions of what we're buying.